Want to buy a gun?
Thanks for the flash. Today we are looking at two exciting new PCPs from Hatsan. It's really remarkable, the entry-level PCPs that are on the market now. The amount of quality, the features, and the performance that we're getting is really astonishing. On the left here, we have the Hatsan Flash. And over here we have the Flashpup. Now we're looking at both of these guns in .22 caliber. They come in 177, 22, and 25. Both of these guns have the same action. The Flash is just your standard rifle configuration. The Flashpup is a bullpup configuration, so it moves the action backwards and moves the trigger up here, and you have a linkage back here to the trigger mechanism. The Flash, it's about 43 inches long, 5.9 pounds, whereas the Flashpup is about 32 inches long and 6.1 pounds. So they're really both really light guns. You can carry them all day and you'll never feel it. They're both really powerful guns, and that's what you're getting different with the Hatsan. We're looking at up to 38 foot-pounds of energy in .22 caliber. The competitors to the Hatsan right now are the Gauntlet and the Airgun. To put that into perspective, the Gauntlet, gets about 22, 23 foot-pounds of energy. The Airgun, 24, 25 foot-pounds of energy. But these are just beasts, and they come in 177, 22, and 25 caliber. Both of these are in 22, and they're the ones we're going to look at today. But let's look at some of the features. We've got the quiet energy shroud here. we have the safety here inside the trigger guard. Safe and then fire. It's a little gritty. It's smoothing out as I use it, but it came out of the box. It catch a little bit. For me, that's a really minor quibble. We have the Quattro trigger, highly adjustable, a really good trigger right now. It's breaking a little harder than I'd like, but you can adjust that down. If we were doing a definitive guide, I'd adjust it for you and we'd take a look at it. But just know that it's really adjustable. We'll give you the trigger pull test here in a little bit. Now the receiver on both of these guns is new. It's not based on the AT-44 in any of the versions of the 1844 platform. It's a new configuration for this gun. You'll notice that when you get a close-up through here. But it's really effective, and the gun is just extremely light. The Flash just shoulders and fills, even with a decent-sized Hawk scope on here. Still, you could carry this all day in the field. Now the Flashpup is, again, as I say, just the same gun, but moved back into a bullpup configuration. The gauge is on the side instead of underneath, as it is on the Flash. And again, you have the same rotary magazine. And again, it's just a tad heavier than the Flash, but it shoulders so well, and it's still a really light gun. Now, the one thing about this that I wanted to point out, that the only real quibble, the complaint I can find with this gun right now, is the magazine and the way it fits in here. You'll see it slides in, and it slides in easily, but then it just rotates like that. It doesn't seat properly on here, so that's not a huge problem. It hasn't really affected anything. You just kind of get it straight up and then push, and load it in, and it works fine. But even once it's in there like that, it still rotates. Really minor quibble on what is otherwise just a really good gun. I'll point out here that the Flashpup has an adjustable cheek piece, so you can get that perfect sight picture and reliability every time, which is really nice. 2 little bolts, and off you go. Both of them, as you'll notice, come with a molded in. Here it's molded in a Picatinny rail. Here it's attached. They're plastic, but they're sturdy, and they're just fine. The rails on top are Hatsan's dual Picatinny and 3/8 inch dovetail. Again, their Picatinny spacing is not standard, but it'll work for both guns. Filling them up, let me show you what comes in the box here first. In the box, you'll have a smaller box that comes with a single shot tray. It comes with 2 magazines, a selection of O-rings, which is quite nice, and a fill probe. Yes, it still has a fill probe instead of a Foster fitting, which we continue to hope for. But it's not too bad here. The fill port has a plug in here, so when you insert your probe, it just pops the plug out. When you're done, pop the plug in. That keeps dirt and dust out of the port, keeps everything clean. I mean, for me, the big disadvantage of a fill probe, besides having to keep track of it, which is the big disadvantage, is the fact that if you have multiple PCPs, it's a pain to twist this on and off of your hose. You need to get an adapter. So the thing you'll want to get with your fill probe is a quick disconnect fitting so that you can just hook it on and off of your hose. And I'll have that in a link below. Well, that's enough talking for now. Let's go to the range, we'll run them over the chronograph, see how much power they're putting out, and see how accurate they are. We're going to run the Flashpup over the chronograph. We're just doing the Flashpup because the flash and the Flashpup works, perform similarly. The Flashpup likes both the Barracuda Match in the 5.51 head size and the JSB Heavies. The Flash, that particular barrel, only really liked the Barracuda Match. It didn't like the JSB Heavies. We're going to go ahead and do a 24 shot string. The magazines in .22 caliber hold 12 shots, so 12 rounds, so that'll be 2 magazines. And let's see how it does here. Remember that these are pretty heavy pellets, so as you look at the chronograph readings, realize that these are going to be on the low side for most, most pellets. Most pellets are in the 14 to 16 grain range. But these are the ones it likes, so these are the ones we're using. We shot 24 shots. The high was 933 feet per second, the low was 851 feet per second, the average was 896 feet per second. That gave us an extreme spread of 82 feet per second, a standard deviation of 25 feet per second, and our average foot-pound energy was 32.35 foot-pounds. So over 12 shots, we had a pretty tight shot string. You can see that for 2 magazines, it really gives us a pretty good spread there. Again, what you're getting with this gun is not really tight, consistent shots over a long shot string. You're getting a lot of power. Yeah, we're going to shoot a magazine full, which in .22 caliber is 12 rounds. So again, this will be a bit larger than a 5-shot group, or maybe even than a 10-shot group, but I think it'll do pretty well here at 35 yards. So that's 12 shots. It's not as good a group as I've shot before with it, but it's not too bad either. Most of them went pretty much in the same hole. We're going to go ahead and shoot a group with the Barracuda match, 21 grain pellets to show you what it'll do here in this gun. Now we're going to do a 12-shot group with the Barracuda match, 5.51 head size, 21.14 grain pellets. And that's 12. I was pretty pleased with the accuracy of the Flashpup. The first target that we shot, 2 of them got away from me, that one and that one, but the other ones are in just a really small area. This is about 1/3 of an inch across. The full group is about 3/4 of an inch. Second shot that we got, again, you know, this is about 2/3 of an inch right here. But if you take off this shot here, the width of the group is only 0.06 inches wide. So it's virtually just the width of a pellet right here. We did the sound testing in our range, and this is an enclosed area. The range is going to magnify the sound, and the highest reading we still got was 84 decibels, which is really good. In this enclosed area, that's really a quiet gun. We're going to test the triggers on both guns because that's really one thing that does function differently. The bullpup trigger, having its trigger in front of the action, may perform a little differently. Let's start with the flash. Three pounds, 13.8 ounces. Three pounds, 12.9 ounces. Three pounds, 14 ounces. For an average of 3 pounds and 13 ounces. So that is on the high side for what I prefer. But again, this is the Quattro trigger. It's really adjustable, and I'm not really concerned about that at all. Now for the Flashpup. Two pounds, 8.5 ounces. Two pounds, 10 ounces. Two pounds, 5.6 ounces. For an average of 2 pounds and 8.1 ounces. So that's not too bad. It's, it's a lighter weight than the Flash. Now the feel of it, is good. You've got a nice light first stage, and you come up against a really clear second stage, and then it just breaks nice and clean with that pressure. The flash, it has a shorter first stage, and actually the second stage is longer on the flash than it is on the Flashpup. So it kind of pulls through it. But again, you can adjust all that out, so don't worry about that. That's one of the great things about adjustable triggers and the Quattro trigger in general. Now these guns are so similar, which one do you get? Well, there's the price consideration. The Bullpup, the hardwood stock is $100 more right now than the flashes with the synthetic stock. Another consideration is that bullpups are a little harder to shoot than full rifles. Why is that? The weight's back here, so they're easier to shoulder, they're easier to maneuver, but that same ease of maneuverability means that it's a little harder to stay on target because there's no weight out here giving you inertia on the barrel. So it's easier for little twitches back here to move that. Just a little bit of weight will move it. Whereas, with a flash, again, a light gun, and not a long gun, but the weight's forward, it tends to stay a little steadier. Your little twitches aren't going to move it so much. So you need to take that into consideration. The cocking lever on the Flashpup has loosened up as I've used it. At first, it was a real bear to get all the way back here. It's not too far back, but it's still, a little farther back than comfortable. If you can get your thumb on there and pull it back, then that'll be really easy. On both of the guns, they can be manually uncocked just by holding this back and pulling the trigger. The other thing is, you may have noticed as I was shooting that there's a bit of a spring to get that to settle in. And when I was on the bench trying to hold it still, that was giving me a little bit of grief. It wants to pop up. Again, these are such minor quibbles. I'm looking real hard to find anything to complain about. These are fabulous guns. You decide which one you want. They're both an incredible value, and again, they are so much more powerful than the competition. For 20, 25 shots, you're getting, in .22 caliber, you're getting 35 to 38 foot-pounds, which is just remarkable. And as we've seen, they're incredibly accurate. Try out those two pellets that I showed you, and I think you'll be really happy with them. If you've enjoyed this video, then like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and stay tuned for next time.